Hello everybody, and in this video I'll be going over research points. Hello everybody, in this video I'll be going over research points and basically my choices and my opinions of each one, and we'll just get started. First up is the ultra capacitors. I chose this because I would prefer DPS over defense. And if you really want defense, well, you get bunkers and planetary fortresses. This one, the +5 to health and armor, you know, it's a decent choice too. You can get either one, but you know, generally this one has more uses because some missions you're gonna be wanting to complete it sooner rather than later, such as if it's timed, or you're rushed, or if it's for an achievement. And this one is just better to do that. Higher DPS means that you'll kill stuff faster and complete the mission faster, whereas this is more tended towards survivability. Now moving on, the instant supply depots, the orbital drops versus the micro filtering. While this is theoretically better, you get 25% faster harvesting, and which is really useful because in many situations you'll be getting gas heavy units such as tanks and battle cruisers or whatnot, or science vessels, and you're going to be starved for gas but have access of minerals. I got the supply depots because my macro isn't the best, and as you can see here that you just need a SEV to go to a location where you have a supply depot that you want to build, and it just basically drops down. So technically you will never be supply capped, and if you are supply capped, it's only going to be for like a couple seconds before this instant ability does its work. You really even soon be supply capped for 1 second. Just build a supply depot beside your SCV. All main refineries versus the command center reactor. Basically, command center reactor should be better because you build 2 SCVs at the same time rather than just one. And what this means is you're going to set up your economy macro up faster, and you'll be ahead in SCVs, which is good in the long term. Also in the short term is pretty good too. You can basically be constantly producing SCVs and get your minerals and gas saturated sooner rather than later. Excuse me. I chose the automated refinery because basically I can build one refinery and not have any SCVs on it, and that should equate to more a buildup of Vespene gas or whatnot early on if you get this supply Vespene geyser refinery soon enough. Also, in many of the missions, or in some missions like the all-in mission, you're already going to have tons of SCV and you really don't need that much mineral saturation. And if you already have used your SCVs on, let's say in the all-in mission, the SCVs that were intended to go into the Vespene geyser, if you use that for the middle as well, you already have an instant 9 SCVs instead of them mining the minerals, or mining the gas. So sometimes, although you are starting up your base, and it's good to have 2 SCVs building and get your saturation going, sometimes even though an SCV costs only 50 minerals, sometimes you just want to build units rather than SCVs, and I chose a refinery because there's some cute stuff you can do with it. Like you don't need, and you can always build it. If you destroy a base, let's say, and you don't want to build a command center or whatnot, you can just build it, but you want the gas, you can just build the gas, and that will instantly teleport the gas into your command center. You don't really need to build a command center and harvest it. So that's a neat little trick for some missions. Moving up, the Raven versus the Science Vessel. I got the Science Vessel because heals. Heals are healing mech units, and air units is basically it's a medevac, but it can heal mech units. The Raven is also pretty good. I mean, point defense drones and whatnot, even hunter seeker missiles is pretty damn good. But I got the science vessel because healing your battle cruisers and your your tanks and whatnot, even though you can do the same thing as with your SUVs, because science vessels don't get hindered by terrain, and they basically, you need a lot of SCVs to do the same amount of healing as one science vessel. I generally got this, and you don't need much macro to use these things. You can just get them with your army, and they'll basically do their thing. Whereas the Raven, you have to micromanage. So again, I'm not the best player, so this is just easier and easier choice for me. Going on, the tech reactor versus the orbital strike. Really, there's no really, it's not really a choice. The tech reactor is the better choice by far. This you don't really need to talk about it. The tech reactor is better by far. The fortified bunker versus the strike turret. Many people get the strike turret, but bunkers in general, they're for defense. They're for your marines and whatnot to get in there and defend a certain position. While having the strike turret is kind of neat, it's not coherent with the function of a bunker, which is for defense. 150 life is way more beneficial than minimal more DPS for a strike turret. If you have stuff in your bunker, that should suffice. If it doesn't suffice, having pulling your army or having more defense, or having 1 or 2 marines like stand behind is gonna be better than having using this. Basically the fortified bunker, the 150 health extra to bunkers, serves the purpose of a bunker and the purposes of defense better than the DPS of a strike turret. Moving on, planetary fortress versus perdition turrets. Planetary fortress is better by far because some missions you're gonna want maybe a wall in, and this is better by far. This perdition turrets, while it's neat to have, I'm thinking a firebat can do the same thing. Whereas this, if you have SCVs behind it, healing the planetary fortress, we all have seen on multiplayer that this thing can withstand lots of attacks if it has lots of SCVs healing it, and you're definitely going to be wanting this for the last mission. Hercules versus Predator. Again, the Predator, the firebat does the same thing kinda. The Hercule, although the medevacs kinda do the same thing on certain missions, such as the Mobius factor, makes that mission really easy. You can load up your entire army and go to each location and win. Enough said. The Hercules is a better dropship by far. It has lots of neat little abilities. Basically, Predator is kind of like a firebat. Maybe it's a little bit better, but firebat, maybe it's a little bit. I mean, it has a 360-degree area of effect, and firebat isn't 360. But I'm guessing this costs a lot more, and its mech and medics and firebats are better than this and science vessels. Science vessels are used more to heal battle cruisers and tanks and whatnot, and this, I don't think it has a lot of health, so it can be taken down quite easily. Moving on, cellular reactor versus the regenerative battle steel. Although many people get the regeneration, the regeneration is kind of slow. Having the cellular reactor combined with a science vessel kind of does the same thing as a regenerative steel, only the science vessel heals way faster than having a slow healing effect over time. So again, science vessel plus cellular reactor is better than this. So get this, and this also benefits your Spectres, your other energy using units such as battle cruiser, Yamamoto more. And finally, the Hive Mind Emulator and the Side Disruptor. Both are pretty good. Both are very good. The Side Disruptor generally is more useful because not only are you slowing down the movement speed of the Zerg, you are basically slowing down its rate of attack as well. The Hive Mind Emulator, it's very useful, especially if you can mind control this Ultralisk, which it does here. So, while the Side Disruptor generally is better than the Hive Mind Emulator because it affects more, it's constant. It's basically a constant passive ability. Whereas the Hive Mind Emulator, I think you have to get 50 energy each time and then use it. And if there's not a good unit to control, that's kind of getting wasted. The reason why I got the Hive Mind Emulator is because of the last mission. The Kerrigan and the Zerg are going to be sending Ultralisk against you, and if you can mind control an Ultralisk and add that permanently into your defense, because this is defense, you spend 50 energy, and this Ultralisk is with you until it dies or you end the mission. It's yours. It's not like a infestor where after 10 seconds or whatnot you lose control. It stays with you forever. If it wasn't for the last mission, I would get the Side Disruptor, but because I have the last mission on mine, the all-in mission, I got the Hive Mind Emulator. And that's basically it. Enjoy.